Welcome to Gospel Tangents, the best source for Mormon history, science, and theology, and first daily Mormon history podcast. I'm Rick. Paul Debarthe is an archaeologist for the Community of Christ and has done an archaeological dig at the Hawn's Mill site, where 17 young men and boys were killed 185 years ago. In our next conversation with Paul, we're going to talk a little bit about the Musket fire that he's found there at Hawn's Mill. Check out our conversation. Well, I know I've kept you a long time, Paul, and it's getting late. Do you have any last thoughts? Is there anything as far as Hawn's Mill that we've I do, actually, I think there is something. You did say that you found musketballS at Hawn's Mill.
Yes, we found both the rifle and pistol balls, so very good evidence of the battle that was conducted there. Some probably close to 500 Missouri regulars came in, and there were probably as many as 30 people in Hawn's Mill at the time. The hamlet was pretty small. It was scattering of maybe a dozen buildings. And yes, there was a significant military incident that occurred there, and sadly it was really a massacre for those 17 people. And again, I would call to people's attention that it's so much better if we love each other.
I agree.
It's not that difficult. I mean, I understand that there are people who get angry and want to go to war. We have an awful lot of heritage that wants to go to war. But the call, as I understand it, of God to mankind is that you don't have to be a dysfunctional family. You can overcome the dysfunctionalities of your past if you'll learn to love each other. Follow the teachings of the Christ. Recognize that to use a bit of compassion can be a good alternative. And when we are compassionate and follow the compact for compassion, it's just amazing how much better our lives can be. Look what difference it is when, for example, you have the Iroquois Confederation, where the leaders would take a vow to keep in mind the welfare of the children in every political decision they made, and even the unborn children. That was a priority. The women were the one that selected the men to go on the council, and if you offended a woman, then you probably didn't get on that council. Mm-hmm. So you better mind your manners throughout your growing up life. But the tug and pull here, making it so that you have to keep in mind the benefit of the children with every political decision you make, made it so that the Iroquois Confederation was a powerful, strong, beautiful confederation. We have a lot to learn from them. I am so convinced that the cause of Zion that Joseph Smith advocated so much is the promised land that's still before us. And we can learn to not be so dysfunctional if we follow the lessons of my sweet wife. Don't forget to love each other.
I think that's a great place to leave. All right. Well, Paul Debarthe, remind people what the name of your book is again.
Oh, here I had it open for the map. Hawn's Mill's Hamlet.
Okay.
And it's an archaeological investigation, phase 3 archaeological investigation conducted by hands-on history students in high school and college. The map inside will show you just a little bit of a sketch of what Hawn's Mill looks like. It's in Caldwell County, Missouri. It's a site that is an example of lessons in history that we need to learn. There's an awful lot of those. We're walking on 10,000 years of cultural residue virtually everywhere we walk in America, or more. Mm-hmm. And we generally don't appreciate it. In fact, we're bulldozing buildings that are 20 years old and replacing them because we got something better now. And we put parking lots and apartment houses on the ancient sites and pay no attention to the people that we're covering over that way. We can do a better job of appreciating and respecting our heritage, our own culture, but other people's cultures. And the more we can learn from other people's cultures about how to live in harmony with the environment, the longer we'll survive.
Well, that's great. Well, I'm going to tell you, go out and buy it. It sounds like it's a fantastic book. I wish I had had a chance to read it so I could ask you some better questions, but it's brand new out, and
it's available on Amazon.
Yeah.
It didn't make it here to the conference except for that one copy that my daughter got from Amazon and loaned to me. I wrote in it for her, and so nobody else is able to take advantage of that and buy it. But I was going to sign books for people that bought them here, but the books didn't get here yet.
Well, Paul Debarthe, thank you so much for being here, and I guess I'll just put in another plug. If you guys want to go to the or want to attend the Zoom Monday night meetings on the Book of Mormon forum, send me an email at gospeltangents@gmail.com, and I will forward it on to Robert and Paul.
Well, thank you. The the Book of Mormon Perspectives Forum is such a pleasant taste of Zion.
Yeah, and it's not just Community of Christ. Bill Shepard, a Strangite's there all the time. Lots of people from Restoration branches. So it's a very interfaith group, and it's fabulous.
Well, thank you. It's and your presentations have been great. We've had him talking about the various places where people think that the Book of Mormon sites should be found, and it's just fascinating to have people so adamant, so excited.
Oh, and by the way, Paul, I got to tell you this. I know you said that, because I was the first one that presented on the African theory.
Yeah.
I just forwarded an email from somebody to Deb. You might get a first one who's supporting an African theory. So. All
right. Okay, well, but we've had 6 presentations on where the land of Nephi is so far. We've had it in Peru, in Guatemala, in the Malay Peninsula, in Georgia, in Joseph Smith's Head, in the Chesapeake Bay area, and yeah, well, Africa's coming.
Yeah.
We need to get the Baja California Peninsula idea as well.
Oh, I can forward you his information too. So.
But yeah, so to have each of these people who've done their research and have what they think are the compelling ideas to support their theory, to me it's pretty convincing that it's actually allegorical about the whole human family being so dysfunctional and needing to move toward that promised land I call Newtopia.
All right. Well, check it out. So, Paul Debarthe, thank you so much. It's been great seeing you here in Texas, and I hope to see you back in Nauvoo. Oh, by the way, what's your website for Nauvoo for people that want to help volunteer with Archaeology Dig?
idignauvoo.com.
Okay.
Robert Cook runs that. We will have Western Illinois University conducting a field school from June 3 to July 10, I believe, is the schedule that they're asking. We'll have it open
like
a couple
months. Wow.
Yeah, we'll have it open a couple of weeks before that, with BYU students coming. There's a serious prospect that I'll be at Liberty Hall in Lamoni.
Oh, that's what for people who don't know what Liberty Hall is.
That's the home that Joseph Smith III built and moved to in 1880, where he lived until he moved to Independence, Missouri, with the relocating of the headquarters of the Reorganized Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so with that move, we have the sesquicentennial of Lamoni, and I've been working on that project, the 150-year celebration, which would be 1879. And let me just add that testimony, because the story of what happened this last month is just awesome. July 21st, 4 girls were driving in central Iowa, pulled out onto Highway 34 and got slammed by a truck. Halsey Barnes died on the spot. That was Friday night, about 10:30. By Sunday, their friend also on the softball team, Ella, died. A week later on Sunday, Gabby died, the driver. Oh. That left Abigail in a coma for a month as the only survivor of those 4 girls. Abigail Barnes grew up on a farm 1 mile south of our farm in Iowa, near Lamoni, west of Lamoni. My father moved there in 1943, actually moved there in 42, but didn't get the farm until 43. And so, been neighbors with the Barneses for 80 years. 5 generations of the Barnes family have been our friends. And here was Abby in a coma. And I found out on Saturday and contacted Travis, her father, and they're good people, but not particularly religiously affiliated. And he asked me what Bible verses to share with her. And so I told him the 23rd Psalm, John 14, and a couple of others. And he was appreciative. I told him that our Shawnee Drive congregation would be praying for him. So, well, that's a good idea to have a whole congregation. That's pretty awesome. Well, he said that, and it occurred to me I can get on the internet and get some more congregations. So by Sunday, we had, I think, 24 congregations praying for him of different churches.
Right.
My brother and I, on Tuesday following, went up to Des Moines to pray for them. And we walked into the hospital room, and here Abby was lying in the bed with the side bandaged and still bloody. Her parents, Travis and Contessa, were standing beside her. His brother, Shannon, and his wife, whose daughter had been killed, Halsey had been killed, were standing here with these 4 adults hovering over this girl, desperate to have some surviving life out of that terrible incident. We prayed for them. We then went back the following week to pray again, and by this time we had Caring Bridge working, and I think we had 13,000 people on Caring Bridge by that time, which was pretty amazing. And the 3rd week we went back again, and the 4th week we went back again, and the doctor had assured me that, or warned me that after a month in a coma, a person's chances of coming out whole again are pretty remote. Her father, though, Travis, put a belt around her because she was moving around in bed, still in a coma. And he got her up, and she actually did some walking. Not cogent, but
wow.
but her muscles wanted to work. So an amazing development.
Yeah.
They moved her to the Madonna Hospital in Lincoln, Nebraska. And I wanted to make contact. I found a pastor in Lincoln whose name was Greg Christ, Chrisist. And with that kind of a name, I thought that's got to be a good pastor. And so I called him, and he and his wife met me at the hospital at noon when I got there on Wednesday. And they, to my delight, invited the Barneses to stay in their basement apartment so they could have a chance to get some good sleep and wash their clothes and so forth. Mm-hmm. So generous, so extraordinarily generous. But then we walked into A19 where Abby was. Her father had warned me the night before that she had uttered some profanity, and so don't know what to expect, but we walked in and she was sitting up. And she was being fed sushi by the nurse. And I saw that. I stopped. I raised my hand to say, "Hi, Abby." She looked up at me, raised her hand and said, "Hi, Paul."
Oh, nice.
I ran over to give her a hug, and she said, "I planted trees on your farm."
Oh.
She had.
Really?
We're on the same Sesquicentennial Committee for Lamoni, and I have a project to write about the families that have been there for 100 years, and ours is one of them. And then she got up and went running around the room, and the nurse chased her because with this side still damaged, she was not well balanced, and a little bit short on attention span. But she came back, and then she sat down and said, "But I've got to finish my senior paper for Graceland first, and then I want to get on my master's project."
Oh, wow.
This last weekend, this is less than 2 months now since the accident, but this last weekend, she got to come home for the first time.
Oh, cool.
For 2 days. And on Sunday, she got on Zoom and spoke to the congregation at Shawnee Drive and said, "Thank you for praying for me."
That's awesome.
When you see the resurrection principle alive, there was an international body of people expressing their faith in her behalf. I heard the Anglican pastor, Pastor Valentine, offer a beautiful prayer on her behalf. Pastor from Nepal, pastor from El Salvador, one from Ukraine. The Tebi folks from the Cameroons were praying for her. Rena's friend Maeva from Polynesia, had told her friends in Tahiti, Rena's friend in Iowa has been hurt, pray for her. And so here's a whole bunch of people that are getting on the carrying bridge, uniting their faith and prayers. The Amish neighbors, of course, were involved. There's this international network of now 66,000 people praying for Abby Barnes and her family. There's only 1,000 in Lamoni, another 1,000 at Graceland. So here's 60,000 extra people from around the world uniting their faith and prayers to bless someone who comes away from the chasms of death back into the resurrected life. I so much believe in faith and prayer, and we have so much available to us when we learn to love each other.
Well, I'll just put in the plug. Me and Jesse James went to Liberty Hall in Lamoni. So if you have a chance to go to there, especially when Paul's there, it's a fun place to go.
Well, I proposed an archaeological project there so we can restore it more to what it was like when Joseph Smith III was there. And there's some chance that I'll be there as the director next year.
Oh, very cool. All right. Well, I don't want to keep you too much later. Paul Debarthe, thank you so much for being here.
It's only 2 hours. Good thing we started late. Otherwise, we'd be there for another hour.
I know. Thanks again, Paul.
Thank you, my friend.
I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Paul Debarthe. Paul, thank you so much for sitting down with me and sharing those wonderful experiences with your wife, as well as with your latest book, Hawn's Mills Hamlet. So check out his book, and you need to check it out and find out more about that archaeological dig at Hawn's Mill. So buy it today. In our next conversation, I'm excited to debunk the Spalding theory. If you want to believe the Spalding manuscript, which I have a hard time with, just read the manuscript. Like, it's honestly, it felt to me like I was reading Gilligan's Island. Like, it's that kind of humor. So we'll do that in just a minute. If you'd like to hear the entire interview uncut, subscribe on either Patreon or at gospeltangents.com. For just $5 a month, you can hear the entire audio uninterrupted. On our $10 tier, if you would like to see the whole video, you can see that either on youtube.com/gospeltangents, or I've got a special Facebook group devoted for full videos. So subscribe at gospeltangents.com and sign up for just $10 a month. For $20 a month, if you'd like to get some bonus content, maybe some of the stuff that ended up on the cutting room floor, you can sign up for that. And then if you'd like to talk to me for $100 a month, we'll do a monthly phone call on something like Zoom, and you can ask me anything you want. So thanks again. Also, don't forget about the merch, mugs, t-shirts, hats, things like that. I'm trying to get the ties up there. Hopefully I can get up there. And thanks again for watching Gospel Tangents, and click here for some more videos.